Some stuff that he think I don't know about, or he think he got one up on me. I don't know. He think he got a mole somewhere. I told him I got a mole.
The boxing world is in shock after reports revealed that Tank Davis has been taken into federal custody over accusations of match fixing in his disputed fight with Lamont Roach Jr. This news comes just days after rumors of a potential investigation started to spread, and now things have taken a much more serious turn.
Hopefully the commission gets this right. It was a bummer not being declared the winner on a technicality that could be righted, that wrong could be righted, obviously, in different ways.
It all began with reports suggesting that the referee, Steve Willis, has shared crucial details backing up claims that the fight was fixed. Fans and experts have been wondering how the match ended in a majority draw, especially when it seemed like Roach had done enough to win. Now, with federal authorities stepping in, it looks like those doubts were not only valid but justified.
I think Lamont Roach, I think he landed more punches throughout the fight. I think Tank was used to, figuring it out, having that slow start, figuring it out around the third, fourth round. And I think
from the moment the final bell rang, controversy surrounded the outcome. Roach had outperformed Davis in several rounds, and many felt he deserved to win. But everything shifted in the 9th round. Davis unexpectedly took a knee in the middle of the action, something no one saw coming. The referee, Willis, started the count, but halfway through, he changed his mind, waved it off, and decided it wasn't a knockdown. That one decision turned the whole fight around. If Willis had called it a knockdown, Roach would have won the round 10-8, possibly enough to claim victory. Instead, with the call going Davis's way, the fight ended in a draw, leaving Roach stunned and fans furious.
What was your thought when you first heard
that they wasn't going to overturn it?
Yeah.
I mean, I expected that. I don't really see them doing that. Tank is too big of an attraction. New York, I felt like...
Davis's explanation for taking a knee was strange, to say the least. He claimed that his hair had been freshly styled with too much grease, and when he started sweating, it dripped into his eyes and burned, causing him to kneel. Fans quickly dismissed the excuse as one of the most ridiculous things they'd ever heard from a fighter. Critics pointed out that fighters often get sweat and blood in their eyes, yet none of them stopped to kneel during a fight. Roach, furious after the match, said, "If you take a knee, that's a knockdown, it's just the rules. The ref started counting, so why did he stop? They stole this from me." Roach's team wasted no time filing an official complaint with the New York State Athletic Commission, demanding a full review of the fight and how it was officiated. But the controversy didn't end there.
He take a knee. You need to lose like 10-8 that round at least, no? And plus the corner go up and put it a towel in the face. That's a disqualification for sure. I'm talking about the rule.
What made things even worse was a chilling comment Davis made to Roach after the fight, where he reportedly told him, "They ain't going to give it to you." At the time, many thought Davis was just talking about the usual politics of boxing, where the underdog often doesn't get the benefit of the doubt. But now, with match-fixing allegations surfacing, that statement takes on a much darker meaning. Did Davis already know how the fight would end before it even started? Was the outcome predetermined? These are the questions now sparking a full-blown federal investigation.
So to me, I thought I won the fight clearly. I thought I won a close fight. I thought I won a very competitive fight. Okay. I'm not saying I steamrolled him or whatever.
The federal authorities got involved after Roach's legal team brought in high-profile attorneys who pushed for a more thorough investigation into the fight's result. They pointed to suspicious betting activity before the fight, with an unusually large amount of money being placed on a draw. A draw is one of the rarest outcomes in boxing, so the fact that so much money was riding on it raised serious concerns. Investigators began to explore whether inside information had been leaked to bettors who knew the fight would end in a draw. Then came the biggest shock, the revelation that referee Steve Willis had shared key information with authorities.
It should have been a knockdown, one. So that's why I'm yelling at the referee, like, keep counting, like, you tripping, keep counting, that's a knockdown. Because if y'all didn't notice, he started the count.
While the full details of what Willis said haven't been made public, sources suggest that he confirmed there were outside influences affecting his decisions during the fight. That revelation was enough for federal agents to take action against Davis. The arrests come as a shock, especially considering Davis's history of legal troubles. Now, he faces what could be the most serious situation of his career.
He wasn't coming to lay down. I've been knowing Lamont since we was kids, so we came up in amateurs together. So I knew Lamont was serious. He was coming.
If the allegations are proven true, Davis could face more than just a suspension from boxing. He might be hit with criminal charges that could land him in prison. Boxing insiders are already speculating about the future of his career. Some believe this could mark the beginning of the end for Davis, while others think his promotional team, led by Al Heyman and Premier Boxing champions, will do everything they can to protect him and keep him fighting. However, even if he avoids legal consequences, the damage to his reputation may be beyond repair.
Like when my back is against the wall or against the ropes, it's like, it's time to show up. So it wasn't really hard for me to focus because all I had to do was...
Social media has erupted with reactions to the news as fighters and boxing figures share their opinions. Devin Haney, one of Davis's biggest rivals, didn't hold back, posting, "Damn, first he fakes injuries to duck fights, now he's fixing fights? Ain't no way y'all still rocking with this dude." Oscar de la Hoya, who has long criticized Davis, tweeted, "I've been saying it for years, Tank is protected. The truth always comes out." Even Teddy Atlas, the veteran boxing analyst known for his blunt takes, called the situation a disgrace to the sport.
I'm still rooting with him. I saw all the negativity and people, critics talking, but I think he's one hell of a fighter, and I think he's still the top.
To make matters worse, Davis's name has been removed from several boxing rankings. Ring Magazine officially dropped him from their pound-for-pound list, replacing him with David Benavidez. The backlash is already having a real-time impact on his career, and if the investigation uncovers more evidence, things could get even worse. There's already talk that the New York State Athletic Commission might revisit the fight and possibly void the result entirely, which would make Roach the rightful winner. If that happens, Davis would not only lose his place among the top fighters in the sport, but he could also have his championship belt stripped away.
They reversed the result of your fight.
Yeah.
Should they reverse the result of that fight as well?
Just depends. Like if that changes the whole fight, if that gives Roach a victory, give him the victory. That's how you keep the integrity of the sport, right? That's why they suspended me, right? Keep the integrity of sports.
As Davis remains in remand awaiting his next legal hearing, the big question is whether he'll fight his way out of this situation or if this will be the moment that ends his career. If the feds have enough evidence to charge him with match fixing, he could face more than just a ban from boxing. Actual jail time may be on the table. Some are already drawing comparisons to past boxing scandals, like when Floyd Mayweather was accused of influencing judges and referees throughout his career. However, while Mayweather was never caught in anything this serious, Davis might not be so fortunate. If the allegations are proven true, he could go down as the biggest scandal in modern boxing history.
He caught me with a good shot, but it was times that I sat in there with him and I'm like, damn, this guy like super slow. Well, not super slow, but he's slow, and I could have took advantage of. I think I was boxing too much in the beginning, and when I feel
Davis is in deeper trouble than anyone anticipated, and now the boxing world is divided on whether he can recover or if his career is permanently damaged. Rolly Romero, one of Davis's past opponents, seems to believe Tank can turn things around in a potential rematch, but his comments have sparked controversy. Speaking to The Ring *, Romero said Davis has the ability to adjust and secure a win in the rematch. He also mentioned that Roach's performance was so unexpected that even Roach himself might not have predicted it. That statement raised eyebrows. Was Romero suggesting that Roach got lucky? Because if there's one thing the boxing world agrees on, it's that Roach was the better fighter that night. It wasn't luck, and it wasn't a fluke.
Hank, you lost that fight. I mean, the only reason they gave you the fight was because you would make more money as a champion, but there's no way it's a draw, and they didn't call the knockdown. If they called a knockdown,
Roach outboxed Davis and would have won if not for the questionable officiating. But now, with Davis under federal investigation for match fixing, Romero's comments carry even more weight. The way Romero described Roach's performance made it sound like a once-in-a-lifetime feat, something Roach could never replicate. But was it really? Roach didn't just land a few lucky punches, he controlled large portions of the fight, made Davis uncomfortable, and exposed weaknesses that no one had truly tested before. Romero's attempt to downplay that could be his way of protecting his own loss to Davis. After all, if Roach, a fighter who's never been seen as elite, could give Davis all these problems, what does that say about Romero, who got knocked out by Davis in the 6th round of their 2022 fight?
that people want to discredit Tank, and he's still a pound for pound fighter.
Yeah. What do you think about that fight that happened? You thought it was just off night, or?
Everybody has an off night. Everybody has an off night. Shit, I had a night with Cruz.
Even more controversial was Romero's take on the knee incident. None of the punches hit him, he said, referring to Davis's strange decision to kneel in the middle of the fight. That's a powerful statement, especially considering Davis had claimed he went down because sweat dripped into his eyes. If Romero, a fellow boxer, is openly saying that no punches landed, then why did Davis go down at all? That question still remains unanswered. More importantly, why did the referee start the count and then suddenly stop? Romero himself acknowledged that if the knee had been counted as a knockdown, Davis would have lost. That moment alone proves how crucial that decision was in shaping the outcome of the fight. But let's be honest.
Punches are being thrown, it has to be a knockdown. I've heard some people saying, oh, that, you know, he should be disqualified, he went back to the corner, I don't buy that, to be honest with you. I mean, I think that's a warning, but it's a bit of a bizarre situation. For me, like, there was a lot of people in boxing.
Romero's choice to sidestep critical issues surrounding Davis's situation is telling. He didn't address the federal investigation into Davis for alleged match fixing, nor did he mention Davis's reported comment to Roach before their fight, "They ain't going to give it to you." Romero also avoided discussing the unusual betting patterns favoring a draw, which have raised eyebrows. Instead, he focused on the notion that Davis simply had an off night and would make necessary adjustments. But how can Davis even contemplate a rematch when he might be facing criminal charges? That's the pressing question.
You can't even see who it is. Hey, who is the dude? Who is the dude?
And that right there.
Ryan Garcia, another of Davis's past opponents, also weighed in on the rematch talk. Speaking to ES News, Garcia expressed his belief that Davis would win the second fight, adding that Tank simply underestimated Roach and expected him to fold. But that raises another controversial point. Why did Davis expect Roach to fold? Most likely, because he knew something the rest of us didn't. If Davis believed going into the fight that the decision was already going to favor him, then of course, he wouldn't have fought with the same urgency or trained the same way. And that's exactly what we saw in the ring. Davis fought Roach like he had nothing to worry about. He didn't take Roach seriously, and when Roach kept coming at him, Davis looked confused, almost lost. It was one of the worst performances of his career, and Garcia saying he was simply caught off guard doesn't fully explain it.
You think it was a draw? Nah. I thought Lamont won. Who you thought won? Lamont. You thought Lamont won? By how many rounds? I don't know. You still want to take Davis?
What makes this even messier is the fact that Roach and Davis had a $250,000 bet before the fight. Davis bet that he would knock Roach out, but when the fight ended in a draw, it was unclear whether Davis ever paid up. If he hasn't, that adds another layer to the controversy. Davis was willing to gamble six figures on a result that didn't happen, despite allegedly having inside knowledge of how the fight would go. That alone raises huge red flags. And if Davis really believed he was going to get the knockout, then why did he fight with such little urgency? Why did he take a knee? None of it makes sense unless you start considering the bigger picture. The good news for Roach is that he's already lined up for a rematch, whether it happens in 2024 or 2025. Both sides have expressed interest in running it back. However, the reality is, a rematch can only be fair if the corruption surrounding the first fight is fully exposed. If Davis is found guilty of match fixing, how can anyone trust that the second fight will be any different? And more importantly, should Davis even be allowed to fight again? If he manipulated the result of a professional fight, shouldn't he be banned from the sport? The worst part of all this is how it's damaging boxing as a whole. The sport is already struggling with bad judging, shady business deals, and fights that take years to materialize.
We will never see that fight happen again. It just will not happen. Gervonta Tank Davis doesn't like hard fights. It's that simple. We've seen it over and over. He fought a Ryan Garcia drained. He fought a very inexperienced Rolly Romero. He will not fight Devin Haney. He will not fight Shakur. He will not fight Pitbull Cruz.
If one of the biggest names in boxing, Tank Davis, is involved in a match-fixing scandal, that's a massive blow to the sport's credibility. It would be worse than the controversies surrounding Floyd Mayweather's handpicked opponents or Canelo Alvarez's questionable scorecards. This isn't just another controversy, it's outright corruption. If Davis is guilty, boxing has a major problem that goes far beyond just one fighter. Meanwhile, Davis is still trying to manage the fallout. Even though he's in remand, his team is working overtime to shift the narrative, attempting to make people believe this is just another case of him being unfairly targeted. But let's be honest, Davis has been involved in too many controversies for this to be just bad luck. From his past legal troubles to his run-ins with the law, and now this federal investigation, it's starting to look like a pattern. Boxing fans are growing tired of it. Right now, Davis is fighting two battles, one in the courtroom and one in the court of public opinion.
I must say, thought enough.
Can you describe what the feeling was like in the ring? And was it to get the towel out, to get the burn out of your eyes, or what was going on? And
I didn't want to get caught. I didn't want to get caught while my eyes was burning. And you know, like, you can get knocked out like that. So I'd rather take the...
Davis is losing both battles. Even if he gets out and the rematch happens, his reputation is permanently stained. No matter what happens, there will always be an asterisk next to his name. And if he somehow manages to win the rematch, critics will just claim it was another fix. Lamont Roach Jr. may have been robbed the first time, but he's won something even bigger, the public's respect. If there's one fighter who has come out of this situation looking better than ever, it's Roach. He was the underdog, the guy who wasn't supposed to win, but he exposed one of boxing's biggest stars. Now, no matter what happens in the rematch, people will always remember that night when he made Gervonta Davis look beatable.
You know it's time.
Can't wait.
You know it's time.
Can't wait. Can't wait.
You know it's time.
Can't wait.
You ready?
The rematch is nearly locked in, and this time, the stakes are even higher. After their controversial first fight, which ended in a majority draw, Roach Jr.'s promoter, Gary Jonas, has made it clear that negotiations are almost finalized. While he didn't reveal all the details, Jonas stated that the rematch is very close to being a done deal. In his words, "In my mind, it's a done deal, but there are formalities." That statement alone has set the boxing world on fire, and fans are eagerly awaiting an official announcement. It seems almost inevitable now, the rematch is happening.
Nah, to be honest, I already made it competitive, for real, to be honest. But for sure, Lamar is a great fighter. He got the skills, like I said.
Jonas also mentioned a key factor that could change the outcome this time around, Davis's mindset. "You've got Gervonta, who's probably going to be angry, probably more focused," he said. That's a major shift from where Davis was mentally before the first fight. Back then, he had been talking about retirement, acting like he had nothing to prove, and barely promoting the fight. This time, with his undefeated record technically still intact but his aura of invincibility shattered, Davis has no choice but to come in fully focused. Anything less, and Roach Jr. could do what he nearly did the first time, walk away with the WBA lightweight title.
We literally saw the mental breakdown of Tank. Like, again, if you got that elite level Y, you know what you saw. He was intimidated by Roach, and it was like baffling to see. Why was he moving? Because to me, he was intimidated by Roach. To me...
Of course, it wouldn't be a Gervonta Davis fight without controversy. The first bout between these two wasn't just close, it was filled with questionable decisions, with the biggest one coming in the 9th round. That's when Davis took a knee out of nowhere, leading referee Steve Willis to start counting as if it were a knockdown. But after some pleading from Davis, Willis stopped mid-count and allowed the fight to continue. Had he finished counting, Roach Jr. would have won by unanimous decision and become the new champion. Instead, the fight went the distance and ended in a draw, an outcome that left Roach Jr. and his team furious.
Thing about Tank, you can't count on Tank to get tired because his conditioning is out of this fucking world. He can fight 20, 30 rounds if he wants to. 12 rounds ain't shit. Tank can go. So, yeah, Lamont, he didn't do enough.
Roach's team wasted no time filing an appeal with the New York State Athletic Commission, arguing that the knee should have been ruled a knockdown. While the commission acknowledged that Willis had made a mistake, they ultimately refused to overturn the decision. This only made things worse, as it confirmed what many had already suspected: the system is rigged in favor of fighters like Davis. Roach Jr. took to social media to make it clear he wasn't backing down. Responding to rumors that he was suing over the result, he wrote, "Look man, I'm going to tell you all straight up, I ain't suing nobody. STFU. My team submitted an appeal on my behalf. What does it look like not having a team that doesn't pull that trigger on something they know was wrong?" That post alone tells you everything you need to know about how Roach Jr. feels heading into the rematch. He believes he was robbed, and now he's coming back with even more motivation. The first time around, he wasn't supposed to stand a chance, he was just supposed to be another name on Davis's resume. But now, he's the man who exposed Gervonta Davis, and this time, he's coming to finish the job. Well, what do you think? Share your thoughts below, and don't forget to subscribe for more updates. See you in the next one.